just sounds blown out. What's up, guys? This is Chris, your least favorite motovlog host. Go for a little ride around the block here and maybe do a little yab run. Nowhere to go. Staying in town, so not much to see. Yeah, I don't know who knows a little bit about me, but I just want to touch base a little bit. I used to do promotion for boxing and MMA shows in Michigan, and I decided I'm going to step away from that game. It's just too much of a hassle. Shows aren't like the cheapest, they're kind of expensive, like very expensive, and you don't know if you're going to make a return on your investment or not. So yeah, that part sucks about it. You know, meeting the people, that's probably the best part. You know, some of the babysitting part of it is kind of a pain. You know, you have to make sure everybody's got all their stuff done, their licenses, their blood work, physical, etc. Same thing with the boxing. Boxing was a little bit different. We did that with USA Boxing. And you just need a passbook and a physical on file to be able to compete in USA Boxing, which is Olympic boxing. Never did a professional boxing show. Thought about it, I just didn't really feel like doing it myself personally. Yeah, I've traveled around, met a lot of people, met a ton of good people, a couple of bad people I'd probably never deal with again. But I'm sure that's the way it is on every business. Yeah, if anybody's ever wondered what you need to do to become an MMA fighter, or not really become an MMA fighter, but actually be licensed to be an MMA fighter to actually compete, I'll give you a little heads up on what you need. Now that we got to that old red light, to become an MMA fighter in Michigan, you're going to need to register with the state, which is Lara, and you'll have to purchase a license, either pro or amateur, depends on which one you are. If you're listening to this and wondering about being an MMA fighter, you probably want to go with amateur. Amateurs do not get paid, but it's also the learning place to decide, hey, I want to compete in this and actually make money. But the amateur side is probably the way to go for now. Get your craft figured out, and you're going to need a sports physical, which you can get that at either your family doctor or med centers. You'll need blood work. And that's just to keep everybody safe. Because you're not going to want to fight anybody that has like HIV or anything like that. So you actually have to check for HIV, hepatitis B, and hepatitis C. In Michigan, they don't currently check for steroids or anything else like that, but they will randomly pick 2 people at the end of the night for drug tests. And if you get caught, you'll probably get a fine, and your fight will get ruled a no contest. What else do you need? Well, you need your license for MMA, license, blood work, sports physical, and a dilated eye test. A dilated eye test is where they put the drops in your eye and it dilates your eye, so basically they're checking to see if you have any problems with your retina, because you don't want your retina to detach during your fight. You know, because we'd like you to see at the end of the night. But that's about it to actually become a fighter, like licensed. But there's way more to becoming a fighter. Like me, I would seek some training at a legitimate gym that actually teaches jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu is probably the best all around for what you would need in a fight, but the best base sport would be wrestling, in my opinion. Like wrestling would be good if you're a wrestler in high school and college and making a transition into the sport. But the only bad thing about wrestlers is they need to learn past that. They need to get some jiu-jitsu, because once you put a wrestler on his back, you know, it's you know, he's not going to know what to do from there. Where a jiu-jitsu guy, that's where he's going to excel. You know, things like karate, taekwondo will help a little bit, but I think more of the jiu-jitsu and boxing will be probably the best all around for a fighter. If you're stuck learning just one specific sport. But hey, if you can get all of them, if you got the time and the money, I would just hit them all up. But I think I mentioned with the USA Boxing, if you wanted to do Olympic boxing, you can compete on these local club shows, you know, like where gyms put on shows. Or you can compete in Golden Gloves. That's basically the same setup as a regular USA Boxing show. You need the same credentials. You know, if I ever hear I'm Golden Gloves champion, blah, blah, blah. They compete in the yearly tournament put on by the Golden Gloves. And I've dealt with the Golden Gloves in West Michigan, and they're a bunch of great guys. The officials are great. It's all volunteer, too. It's not like they really get paid anything to do it. So they're actually doing this out of the kindness of their heart. So if you're a coach, I wouldn't really hassle them too much, because, you know, those guys are taking time out of their day to be with they're taking time out of their day, taking the time away from their family to help out your gym and your boxers. So I just treat those guys with some respect. But yeah, like they put on a yearly tournament, and to be able to compete in that or in a boxing club show, you would need a sports physical, like I said, and a USA Boxing passbook. I cannot remember the cost off the top of my head. I want to say it's right around $60-$70. I can't remember. It's been a while since I helped guys sign up. But yeah, that's good for a year. And that lets you box anywhere in the United States with a USA Boxing event. And then you can compete in tournaments, and if you're good enough, maybe go on to the Olympics. But yeah, I've met quite a few guys in the business. I've met like Dan Severn, Floyd Mayweather Sr., Nate Jones, Craig Houck, Angel Manfredi. Who else? I'm running a blank now. Nick Diaz. Oh, there's been so many guys that I probably just forgot most of them. But like meeting these like famous fighters and everything, it doesn't make me excited. I'm more excited for the guys that haven't made it yet, that are working to get there. Like these are the guys that, you know, have the drive to see, like, hey, can I make it to the top of my sport? And I kind of like hanging out with those guys better. Yeah, it's cool hanging out with, like, you know, with the big name fighters, blah blah blah. But hey, you know, it's just not my thing. I just like hanging out with the average Joe. But don't get me wrong, it is cool, you know, with some of these guys. But yeah, I decided to get out of the sport. My license expired at the end of August, just like all the licenses do for combat sports in Michigan. I was matchmaker for Knockout Promotions and co-owner. And I was co-owner matchmaker for Johnny O Productions. Did a few boxing shows, one at the casino, some at in Grand Rapids. But I've also done shows before that, and that was years ago, with a person I'm still friends with now, Jim Overley, who used to own Michigan Elite Fight League, and Jim handled most of the stuff on that. I was basically an assistant, like on anything. I was co-owner, but I felt like he was doing more of the work because I wasn't really into it. I've been in the sport since 2009. I used to sell MMA apparel back in the day. And I decided, yeah, I want to get a little bit more involved. Kind of older, or I was kind of older to compete. So I decided, yeah, maybe I'll just stick with this so I can still be involved with the sport. But now that I'm getting older and not caring as much, I've thought about, hey, maybe I can do a jiu-jitsu tournament or just a one and done amateur MMA match. The wife's not too fond of that. But hey, what you don't know won't hurt her, huh? And one thing is, I know she won't watch this video because she has vertigo, and the camera on the Motovlog kind of throws her off. So ain't that too bad, especially if I went like this. So she'd probably be puking right now. But yeah, I just wanted to go for a ride and give you guys a heads up if you didn't already know. I'm sure most of you guys on YouTube don't know, or don't know what I used to do. But if you guys ever have any questions about fights, or where to train, or who to compete with, what gyms are legitimate, what gyms are straight trash, just give me a heads up. Maybe message me privately, or just find my personal account, and I'll answer some of your guys' questions on that. Yeah, I noticed we have one more bike night coming up, and I'm going to have to miss it. It's going to be tomorrow on my time. I'm sure you guys will be way past by the time you guys see it. But I have my daughter's volleyball game, so I'm going to miss bike night, the last bike night of the year. I got a brand new gimbal for like really smooth video, so I guess I'm not going to be able to use that. Then I was like, oh, maybe I'll go to the car show tonight, and I figured, oh, it's Wednesday. They actually have the car shows on Tuesday, so I'm missing out on that. So I figured I might as well go for a ride, make some content. So I just did a video on revisiting the old phone mount, and right after I uploaded the video, of the newest problems I've had, with the vibration motor not working in the phone, I posted that video, and then one of the little rubber straps right here actually snapped in my corner. It's not detrimental, like it still works, it's just I lose some of the ability to hold the phone down, but it's never fell out, even if I did forget the straps. But I do have the Freedom Cruise coming up. It's for you people that are really big into the veterans and things like that. It's like a big car cruise that goes through Grand Rapids, Sparta area. And we do like a little veterans party, not really a party, but like a get together and do some recognition and stuff like that. And that'll be, I think, 2 weeks. Grand Rapids will be fifth, third ballpark, so you guys can probably Google the Freedom Cruise in Grand Rapids. Last year they actually let me fly it, and I didn't fly it in, but I had the walkie-talkie that called in the air crew that flew over, you know, like during like sporting events or whatever, they fly the fighter jets over. And I got to call them in at the last Freedom Cruise. They weren't fighter jets, but they were also like some type of fighting squadron that had to do with airplanes. So that was kind of cool. And I guess they said I had to be real careful with that radio, because that radio will call Air Force One, which I thought was kind of cool. But I've already went around the block, so, and I got to be back home in a couple of minutes, so I should probably hit the expressway on the way back through. And I also did a review on the Purple Panda microphone too, and that didn't work out too well for me. I don't know if I just got a bad microphone. My son actually bought it for me. I'll actually give him a little plug. You can check out his gaming channel below. It's Kain. Yeah, why do you have that bad name? It's got drugs in it. Hey, I let my kids do, like, I let them do their own thing, and he's old enough. So he's got a gaming channel. He actually bought the microphone for me, but they said that they were supposed to be great for motovlogs, but I actually had a little bit of a problem with it. Like, I couldn't really hear. Couldn't really hear me that well when I was on the bike, you know, like especially on like this particular spot right here, riding in the expressway. Had to itch my nose. Yeah, it was like pretty much inaudible. You couldn't really hear me that well. So I tried the microphone in different spots, jammed it in different locations, even tried it without the dead cat, which is a little like hairy looking thing that's supposed to cut down wind noise. I even tried it without that, and it sounded great for just cruising around town. He was 25-mile-an-hour zone, but once I got in the expressway, it just sounded like I was talking like I was falling down the stairs. So I actually gave it back to him. He's going to return it. I might try out his, because he got one too for his channel. So we're going to get another one in and retry it. Hopefully it was just a bad microphone. I've seen from a couple of reviews that they got bad mics and it didn't really sound too good, but then I've seen some of the other channels that use that particular microphone for their motovlog, and it's turned out great. So we're going to check into that soon when it comes back in. I thought I might as well give the kid a shout out here, you know, for his one nice gesture in his whole life. Yeah, I don't know if you guys are into gaming at all, but I just watched Boy's last video. It was a VR video. He does Oculus Quest. He got this game called Pavlov. It's like a Counter-Strike type of military game. He got guns and you got to run around and shoot each other. But he did it where every time he got shot, he had to take a shot. I think he was drinking Jameson, so every time he got shot, like I said, he had to take a shot. I think they cut it off at like 6, so I don't know if he was too hammered or what. It was kind of entertaining, and then I challenged him. If you look at the bottom comments on that, I challenged him to a 1v1 Halo 5 versus your dad. And every time you get shot, or not get shot, but get killed in the game, you got to take a shot, and we'll play to 25. So we're going to see how that works out. So I think I've always smashed him in Halo 5. Not Halo 5, but in Halo in general when he was growing up. You know, but now that he's moved out, he's got more time to practice than I do. But we'll find out if his game improved. Alright, I got a question for you guys. I don't know if you've ever seen this before or why this guy does it. If you'll even be able to see it. But you know how everybody got their mailboxes and paper boxes right there, you know, where they're supposed to be. And I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see it or not, but why does the guy have his paper box halfway up the telephone pole? Like, there's no way anybody can use it. That's probably like 12 feet in the air. It was just weird, I was thinking. And another thing is I got my bad luck camera on and nobody's pulled out in front of me. The last video, which I can show that little clip it right now, is I had a cop pull out in front of me. Or not pull out in front of me, but like come into my lane at the intersection. So I'll show that little clip right now. And all the audio just sounds blown out. I think your top film was running me down. You know, it's actually way closer than what the camera shows. That camera gives like that fisheye look where you can get a big field of view, but he was actually way closer than what it looks. Then I come to find out, I guess he was on like a call that was like down the road, but you know, hey, you can still at least not run over your pedestrians. Bike lives matter. And this film, or this video is actually filmed on September 11th, 2019. And some people are saying, well, what did you do on September 11th? You know, when the towers came down. And I kind of still remember it was, I was working, but I was home sleeping because I was a third shifter. And my wife told me about it and everything, and I was still kind of in a daze. But then I remember I was going to go to the casino in the middle of the day. And I rode my old Ninja, my 2000 ZX6R, to Mount Pleasant. And it's just like the whole world was like in a zombie apocalypse at the time. Like there was cars like piled out blocks down the road coming out of the gas station, like we were going to run out of gas and everything else. It was just weird. And another bad thing is it's starting to get cooler out. That means it's going to be time to put the bike up because it's Michigan. And Michigan's not exactly the warmest place to ride in the winter. You know, I did ride a bike in December, January, and February in Michigan. Usually it's snow, but it was actually about 40 on some of those days. So I did sneak away on the bike for a little bit. I don't know if that's going to happen this year, but hopefully fall takes a long time and it's warm. But it's like 80-ish today, which is odd. Well, yeah, guys, if you think of any ideas that you want to see on the next video, make sure you leave a message in the comments. And if you really like it, make sure you give us a thumbs up. Maybe even hit that little bell after you subscribe. So that way you can comment first, because nobody ever comments on my videos because they're so freaking pathetic. But hey, somebody's got to do it. So make sure you like, subscribe, and tune in for our next video. This is Chris with Hit the Gas. See ya.